Peace and blessings, y'all. This is the Black Horseman of Ra. I just want to take this quick moment to share a powerful book that I actually purchased, I want to say about a year and a half ago. And it's a mythology book. It goes into a lot of different versions of the creation story, and just a bunch of mythological characters, gods and goddesses and things like that. I really encourage everyone to get into mythology. It can really change your perspective on the world. It can change your perspective on just creation in general, and helps you to understand a lot of other religions and philosophies and things like that. So I'm just gonna go through a few pages. Here's says the Big Bang. Speaks on, it says scientists now believe the world began with the Big Bang, a huge explosion 13 million years ago that sent matter in all directions to create the ever-expanding universe. So it's just different versions of creation. Some people believe, it says created from goodness. The ancient Persians believed in twin spirits who had existed since the beginning of time. Ahura Mazda, who was good, and Amriman, who was evil. It was Ahura Mazda who created the physical world, set time in motion, and created humankind. So it's like different versions. Everyone has their own story, and I kind of get into all of them, kind of learn about it. See the cosmos here. People have always questioned the mysteries of the world, from its origin and shape to its cosmos or order. The world is often thought to have emerged from a cosmic egg. In China, the warring forces of yin and yang in the egg created the first being, Pangu. I don't know if any of you guys have heard of these different names. The Dogon people of West Africa believe the world was formed from a vibrating egg that burst open to reveal a creator spirit. The Ainu of Japan believed there were 6 skies above this earth and 6 worlds below it, the abodes of gods, demons, and animals. The world has long been thought of as round. A myth told by the Inuit people of the Arctic tundra tells how 2 families set out in opposite directions to discover the size of the world. Got my daughter messing with the computer. You know better, baby girl. But anyhow, like I said, I'm gonna be brief, but I just thought it was very interesting, and I wanted to share this with you guys. Just different versions. So when you study mythology, you're not just kind of stuck in one form of thinking. You can kind of get into everyone's, version of the creation story, and you can kind of see how people kind of, how religion can transpire, and these different deities, gods, and goddesses that they worship, and how ancient, they are, yin and yang. There's a lot of different things, Actually, I bought this book I was at a comic book store. I went with my boys, and, they get into comics and stuff like that. I actually wanted them to get into comic books and stuff, get into reading and things, more reading material instead of just PlayStation and things like that. And when I went in there, I saw this mythology book. I said, well, let me grab this, see what this is about. And you got ancient Kemet right there. It's not really coming in clear. Sun god Ra. The falcon-headed god Horus joined forces with the Egyptian sun god Ra and became Ra Horikati. He sailed a special boat, the solar bark, across the sky by day and through the underworld by night. So I'm sure a lot of people have explored a lot of these different mythologies, and just very, very interesting. Enemy of darkness, the Babylonian sun god Shamash was the only being able to cross the ocean of death until the hero Gilgamesh did so. Shamash was a lawgiver and healer, the enemy of darkness, wrongdoing, and disease. So very interesting. When you get into mythology, you learn about a lot of different versions of how the creation story started, and just a lot of good stuff. I mean, they got a lot of artifacts and things like that, to back up a lot of these stories. And you got like supreme beings like Zeus, things like that. I study, I get into all this stuff. Just very interesting. Plus, I like the art. I like to learn about how a lot of these ancient cultures reach a form of enlightenment. So you got like flood stories and things like that. It's some real interesting stuff. Mythology is the way to go. It breaks down elements, fire, air, earth, and water, known as the four elements in the Western tradition. Chinese have 5 elements: wood, fire, earth, metal, and water. Almost all mythologies tell how humans acquired the gift of fire, often stolen from the sun. Gods of the air and the sky have been so important that the names of many supreme gods, such as the Greek god Zeus, simply mean sky. Earth, although sometimes regarded as male, is more often thought of as our mother. According to mythology of ancient Babylon, in the beginning nothing existed but Apsu, the freshwater ocean, and Tiamat, the saltwater ocean. These two waters have given and taken life since the dawn of time. So a lot of interesting stuff. And when I'm studying and new information or reading stuff like that, I don't I read with an open mind. You can really miss out on a lot of information if you study with a perception in mind of like, oh, that's not true, or I already know this or I already know that. I always approach things as if I'm clueless, as if like something that is foreign to me. That way I can always keep my mind fresh, and learning. So I'm not going to go through the whole book, but I just kind of wanted to share this today. This is a book that I've had, like I say, for about a good year and a half, something like that. Children of the Gods. If anyone wants to know where the first cannibals came from, which a lot of people believe were the Europeans, these people that call themselves Caucasian, things like that, this is how they started. So when they kind of start talking crazy, you got to kind of remind them where they come from. The Cyclops, a lot of these ancient, movies and stuff come from these ancient stories and, all that stuff, People was eating raw meat back in the day. Crazy. Ancestor worship. Mythology is the way to go. Mythology is the way to go. It's not going to hurt you to study a lot of different things, And whatever, suits your soul and your spirit, you go with that, You can take your learning and everything to a whole nother level. This is a very powerful one that I like. Krishna. Krishna is always blue, which shows that he is an incarnation of Vishnu. You know what I'm saying? It's powerful stuff in mythology. So, big ups to all the light bringers. Big ups to all those that are always on their journey of learning, trying to expand on their knowledge, and also sharing it with others. I'm sure after I'm, done with this, I'll pass this down to my children. This book that is. I'll pass this down and, Make sure that they are very studied in in the scholarship of mythology, so that when they come across somebody or they see a certain symbol, they're like, oh, I've seen that in that book that Pops handed down to me, because it's just some powerful stuff. A lot of cultures offer a lot that you can learn from and apply into today's time period. You know, I love meditation. I love just hearing about different ways of how certain people reach enlightenment, and all that old stuff. So I'm gonna go ahead and end this, but hopefully everybody has a great day. Never limit your learning. Always go into, um, always further your studies. This the Medusa story right there. You know. But yeah, always further your learning and growth. While you're here on the planet Earth, you're here to grow and learn. You're here to get some new information that can help you, ascend. So big ups to everybody that does that. This is Black Horseman El Ra. Peace.